everybody. Boing. There goes the pound. How are we all doing? Morning, Callum. Morning, Paul. Morning, JC. Welcome to the new members. I don't get to see the new members in the chat system, but I do on the stream for some reason. They pop up. Now they've gone. Oh, well. No, they're not there anymore. Whoever it was. AZ and someone else joined. Can't remember the members' streams. Did say there this morning, but anyway. Morning, Sarah. JC, I think I've said hello to already. Morning, Harold. So, yeah, basically, finally, Bailey has come out and given us some news that we've been waiting for around about 3 months, that they're going to drop the interest rates. I know they have once, but obviously going to do it properly this time, as he should have done months ago. So, just quickly cover the news on financial juice first, because that's the most important bit this morning. So last night we had Barkin saying that there's a 50 basis point cut. The 50 basis point cut in September was warranted because the rates were out of sync with the decline in inflation. So again, kind of what I've been barking on about, on about for the last couple of months. They need to be doing this faster. Their inflation figure in the US was coming down very quick and very close to target, and that was not. So they needed to make a move on it quickly. So he's just reiterating basically what everybody, not just me, but obviously everybody was sort of thinking, that you're a bit behind the curve. And that's exactly what Bailey has confirmed again this morning. Behind the curve. I don't know why it is, but most normal human beings look at things from a financial perspective that know anything about economics and look at the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve and sort of go, what are you doing? Yet they just seem to get it wrong all the time. And then everybody else is thinking you should be doing this and they don't. So don't know why. There's obviously a reason, but they get it wrong all the time. Loads of other stuff happening over the Middle East, obviously. We've had 24 hours of no more missiles, which is good. So it hasn't escalated any further over there, apart from obviously the ground invasion. The US obviously is condemning bombing the nuclear plants, as everybody would do. But there's not been any further big escalation there. So safe havens are still safe at the moment from a financial perspective. Some news out of Japan. There's Bailey this morning. So Bailey sees the chance of a more aggressive rate cut. Yeah, so we've had nothing from Bailey since that pointless, unusable quarter point cut we got, and then a freeze. We've had nothing. What they were expecting was to hit the 2% target, us to drop the rates. We didn't do it. They were expecting a bounce. They got it. They cut the rates by 0.25%. They were expecting a bounce. They didn't get it. So basically what's happened is inflation has remained stable for longer than anticipated, meaning there is now a much higher probability of a cut coming. And depending on the inflation figure that we get next, potentially bigger. Same as the US, same as Europe. We need to go faster and harder on interest rates down. So that's basically the upshot of what Bailey's been saying this morning. We've also had the Swiss CPI come out this morning. We got 0.3, so it's negative. Again, that will mean that they will drop interest rates further on the Swiss franc. They have anticipated, and Jordan came out on Tuesday and said, we're not ruling out negative interest rates, so taking the interest rate down to a negative 0.25. So the Swiss at the moment is sitting on 1. They don't mind going negative with the rates. It's a safe haven. They want the rates as close to zero as they can. If they're under, that's fine. If they're over, it's fine. But they want to be very, very, very low. They want to make themselves attractive for somewhere to put money. It's basically the bank that is safe. So that basically means potential interest rate drops. If you look at the Swiss this morning, it's had a bit of a bull move. A bit of a bear move off of it, as you would expect. So dropping interest rates, negative Swiss. So obviously Aussie Swiss has rallied against it. And you've seen that across the board. Euro Swiss has popped, pound obviously, even though it's gone down. Yeah, everything's had a little bit of a pop on that news, but nothing particularly dramatic. It may continue, but I don't think it's anything that the market didn't already know. UK futures point to a 42 basis point cut instead of a 36. So again, the market you can see it's very obvious. The market is factoring in more reduction in pound interest rates. So obviously, that's why that's happening. So big moves today. We've got a German bank holiday today. So DAX. I was just going to say, I'm just going to delete these orders. God, that was lucky. Not trading the DAX this morning. Market is open for electronic trading, but it's a holiday in Germany. So it's fine having the trading floor open, but the traders aren't going to be there. So you're probably not going to find there's an awful lot of movement on the German indexes today. FTSE straight into a hedge. Thanks, FTSE. Straight into a hedge this morning. Again, I was a little bit late on this, but we've obviously had a large move on the FTSE because the pound has collapsed. Therefore, the stock market does the inverse to the currency. So obviously that's rallied. So there's a hedge on this morning. I think we'll probably get all-time highs, not all-time highs, but break that weekly high today. We'll get a hit above ADR. So I'm happy to hold the hedge this morning. Target 150 ADR potentially is on the cards. So if we come back an A-shaped recovery, the move for any reason, that's fine as a target as well. So those targets that I've got on the SIH today, pretty much where I would expect it to go if it's going to continue to move. Euro pound, I'm just going to close that out completely now. So I've banked 3k off of that this morning. I've got another k to bank. I have already banked on it as well once. So nice little trade that. Yeah, I'm just going to close it out. So flat on euro pound, 3.8%, which is nice. Obviously helped by Bailey this morning. So it doesn't matter why it moves, as long as it does. So the rest of the news we got today, unemployment claims are coming out at 1:30 this afternoon. I suspect we'll get a very similar move to what we did on the non-farm employment change yesterday, which was not a lot, bit of movement for an hour or two maybe, but probably more whipsaw. It's non-farm payroll, and obviously unemployment rate is what the market is looking at. So this is the main focal point tomorrow. The fact that has gone up, if we get the unemployment claims coming down today, it means that probably the unemployment rate has come down. So we may well get a negative figure on that, which would be bullish for the US. So we'll see what happens. But tomorrow with this non-farm, the fact that the Fed are expecting a big drop in interest rates and they're wanting to go faster than anticipated, I think tomorrow we're going to get a big day. I think regardless of what that figure comes out at tomorrow, we're going to get a lot of volatility, and that could go either direction. So it's very difficult to pick the direction of that. Obviously, it always is. But tomorrow specifically, I think we're going to get a big one. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. So today, I wouldn't expect a massive move off of that. We have got the PMIs at 3 o'clock, half an hour after market open as well. So if inflation comes down in that respect as well, it just means, so it's all about negative numbers. If we get a negative number there, it's going to be potentially big for that, which will be big for the US coming down. They're dropping interest rates, which means it will happen faster and the US will collapse. So this is probably the main focal point today. If that's a big red number, I think we'll probably start tomorrow's move today, but we'll wait and see. So that's today's news. So you've got volatility coming in at 1:30. You've got volatility coming in at 3 this afternoon. ADRs today. So I did post in Discord this morning as soon as that news broke. Be careful with mean reversion here. Yeah, all these pound pairs. Just be careful trying to mean revert these. This is the news the market's been waiting for. Negative pound. more likely is that, yeah, than that. So if you are going to take ADR reversals on these today, obviously it's pretty much at 200 ADR on the euro pound. So there is a chance it will mean revert, and it probably will mean revert a percentage of the move. When it goes, difficult to call. How far it will go, difficult to call. So we're putting in a big propulsion gap here, yeah, on the hourly time frame. So we've got a large propulsion move gone in. Yeah. When I see moves like this, if you're going to try a mean reversion, that would be my target maximum. Yeah. Think flag break. Yeah, this is a fundamental shift. We have got confirmation from Bailey now that we're going to drop interest rates faster than anticipated. We didn't know when, and now we do. Well, we don't know when, we don't know how much, but we do know it's happening now with more sense of urgency. So the likelihood is it's a market changing move, which means the market is now going to sell more pound than it was before. So what you'll tend to find is orders will be placed, will flag, and then we'll continue. And we'll start to go into some kind of medium short-term trend from here. So watch that. If Bailey comes out and goes, what the hell? Why are you reacting like this? I just said we're going to drop rates. Did you not know we were going to do that? You could get an A-shaped recovery. So again, news isn't always news until there's confirmation of it. Yeah. So you could get an A-shaped recovery on this. It could pop and then Lagarde come out and say something which completely collapses the euro. Yeah. So don't forget, there's always two currencies involved. There's two news events driving the market. So that's what I would look for today if you are going to mean revert it. So the other ADRs you've got are the pound odd, same thing. If you're going to try a mean reversion on this, but you know, I was told a very easy to understand analogy many years ago in trading. Do not stand in front of a steam train. This is a steam train. Yeah, you can't stop it, and the likelihood is, even if it puts its brakes on, it's going to take a while. So mean reverting on fundamentals is a lot more risky than on normal market movement. If you get a normal ADR move in a day that is not caused by a fundamental news event, there's one there. Yeah, the chances are it's just part of a large move which they will add into and they will take profit on. A fundamental will either accumulate and continue or flag and continue. You don't know what it's going to do because you don't know how much volume or how much faith they've got in what they've just seen in the news. So, but just be careful. If you're going to look at the previous week's low, previous day's low, look at other support resistance areas you're going back to, but more importantly, look at the propulsion move. This initial move was formed within 10 minutes or so, probably actually 15-20 minutes, I would say. So it's this whole batch of basically selling. They didn't stop. Yeah, when they did stop, they added. Yeah, so when we get back here, they're likely to add again. That's the theory. Yeah, so you probably find, even if it does get into that, there's going to be a hell of a lot of banks, institutions, and big players wanting to sell this. So if you're trying to mean revert it, that's fine, but just be aware you're going to hit a brick wall, an iceberg at some point, and you ain't getting through it. So it's the sort of trade, if you get into a mean reversion entry on this and it gets into profit, it's the sort of one I would go break even as fast as you can, because if you're wrong, it's going to really be wrong. Yeah, it's not something you really want to turn into a position trade. So just be aware, especially if you've got the market reversal alerts EA running or the position trade EA running on a full auto with ADR reversals on. Yeah. Also H1 M5 mean reversion, H4 M5 mean reversion. Yeah, you're going to get signals all over the place today on these. So just be aware. It may well do it. It may well come all the way back and do a 50% retracement, and then it doesn't matter what it does it? Because you're out. But it's a big move, so just be careful with it today. I'm not taking any of these. Pound CAD, same thing. Yeah, we are starting, look, to get reversals on low time frames here. Yeah, so it's looking like it might want to go. But the reversal alert is all the way up there. If you're going to get in on a moving average entry, you'll probably be getting in shortly. So just be aware. these could be big continuation moves today. Don't forget, look at this day here. That move there was 200 ADR. Yes, ADR is 100. This is 216. You could get an ADR move. AZ, you've got a little star next to your name, and your name is green. Welcome aboard. Morning, Forex Fire. Didn't say hello to you. How are you? I'll catch up on the chat in a sec. Just go through the ADRs. Pound New Zealand, also the same thing. Yeah. Bias on this one is kind of negative against negative. You're running into a propulsion move here. So obviously the buyers are going to want to add into their longs here. So it's basically, this is the battleground here and here. So that's really room for movement today, safely. Pound US dollar, same thing. Yeah. We're at a beautiful level on this. I've been waiting to get to this level. I've been watching this reversal, anticipating that as an entry, because the pound, obviously Bailey hasn't been saying they're going to drop interest rates, so I've been sort of neutral to bullish on the pound. The US we know is coming down fast, so I've been looking for an opportunity to go long on the pound US dollar. Hits it today. Now my bias is completely different. I'm short the pound now, so I don't want to go long. It's annoying, but this level here was a beautiful accumulation break and retest. I've been waiting for them to get here on extension for a long. Can't do it now. It's just not right, is it? I mean, you could get into this right now, and it could well continue down today. But tomorrow, we've got non-farm payroll. Yeah, if the US dollar collapses tomorrow on bad numbers, this is going to be back up here. Even if this is weak, the US is going to be weaker. It's bigger currency, bigger move. So just be careful with these today. It's the kind of day you kind of look at them and go, sit on your hands, do something else, trade a different strategy, do something different. Yeah. Weekly ranges as well. You can throw all the pound ones out the window, obviously, because these are a fundamental, but they are very extended on the weeklies. So things like the pound CAD, you know, that is a big extension, but we had that 200 ADR day. So it was already at 100% there. So if you longed it off of that, which is that entry there, obviously today, unfortunately, the news has gone against you. So you'll be scaling into it. Nothing you can do. This is part of the downside to position trading. Position trading's got a hell of a lot more upsides than using stop losses. The downside is drawdown and fundamental news shifts. Yeah, when you get a shift against you fundamentally, can cause long-term problems for weeks, can't it? So it's just part of the game. But you've got a nice potential support coming up down there. So there's a few weeklies to look at. But you can scan through those in your own time. Aussie New Zealand is weekly hit today. Or was that yesterday? 155. Yeah, no, today. So that's a hit today, Aussie New Zealand. So that's a weekly hit into propulsion. That's not a bad looking entry. So that's also an H1 RSI extension mean reversion opportunity. It's already kind of gone though today, and it's in retest at the minute. So you've had your reversal alert. What the hell? I got problems with this terminal at the moment. So you've had your reversal alert. And this is, there's a retest arrow there because it kind of went back up and then it closed back down again. But this is kind of your M pattern here. Beautiful rejection in propulsion, look. For a short, if we get through there and we break that low, you're off today. You'll be coming back down to here at least. You get an ADR out of it. So that looks good for a short. Aussie New Zealand, that is a weekly range extension. It's an RSI extension on the hourly, or it was this morning. So that's a good opportunity. You've got a nice M pattern reversal going in as well. So watching that level there. We've got CAD, all the yens, really weak yen at the minute. So we had yen, massive yen weakness yesterday. That's all up mean reverting. I almost posted this in the Discord channel yesterday. I watched all these yens hitting ADR yesterday. And virtually all of them were at resistance. So we got an ADR hit yesterday on all the yen pairs. They were all at resistance. And I was like, oh, that looks good for a short. And then I was flicking through them and going, oh, that looks good for a short. And then I looked at the Swiss and I was like, oh, that looks good for a short. Because they're all basically, they've did an ADR rally yesterday straight back up into that weekly high from last week. And I thought they all look really, really good. That one didn't make it. Pound obviously be playing out already. New Zealand didn't quite get there, but the US I was watching as well. And I didn't take any of them because the last time I tried to go short on the yen, against the yen, obviously, it just got stuck. And the problem with it is it's negative swaps. So you are paying huge swap fees to hold shorts. So I decided not to take it. And I just looked at that CAD yen, and that CAD yen's played out beautifully this morning. New Zealand yen, you're just about to get the hourly reversal and it's breaking down. So it looks like a failed breakout. So these are all good short opportunities as well today. All of these yens. And they're all playing out now. Reverse alert's gone in there. Look on the CAD yen. So that's retesting. And it's just about to break that low. If it breaks that low, you've got a free fall drop, 125 ADR, all the way down to here. Watch that area there, ADR as well. But so there's loads of yen opportunities as well. These are all weekly range extensions. So all the yens basically have hit their weekly ranges off the back of ADR moves yesterday. Other weeklies, we've got Euro CAD. So I'm in this already. First entry taken yesterday. So I took this one yesterday, Euro CAD long. Just looking for a push back up into previous week's lows at the moment. So it's kind of a fairly small scalp play. Push down into the double monthly. And that's the reason I took this one. If you remember yesterday, I said the reason I'll take this one is because we've got a lovely double monthly support. So that is the monthly low from previous month. That is the September low, happened to start and rally and never come back. So what you've got there is anybody that bought last month and bought off the back of the previous month, you've got a double lot of limit orders sitting at this monthly level here. So the market will find it very hard to get through that because there's going to be a hell of a lot of buying power from institutions there. And we are massively extended. So all the shorts will be looking at their P&Ls and going, we need to take some of this, meaning that obviously we'll get that mean reversion play. So you've got buyers wanting to step in here and sellers wanting to exit part of their positions, pushing back up into there. So it has broken. So we didn't get a reverse alert on the hourly because it was quite a big move down today. Yesterday at the end. So that is either going to do that or this support rectangle is going to hold and we are actually going to break that monthly level. So there's obviously a hell of a lot of selling pressure, as we know, on this euro at the moment. Lagarde didn't help. But we've got the US news coming out. The CAD will react to the US news. The other thing we've got happening at the moment, there's a lot going on at the moment, isn't there? We're halfway through the stream and I haven't stopped talking yet, but haven't even looked at the chat. Oil is another thing we've got to be careful of. CAD, big effect from oil production with the Canadians. They export a lot of oil. So does the US. With what's going on in the Middle East at the moment, obviously Iran control a lot of it as well. We could have a massive disruption to oil production with this Middle East problem. If that happens, the price of oil is going to fly through the roof. If that happens, the Canadian is going to power up. If that happens, this is coming down hard. Yeah, so some of this move that we've been seeing is partly euro, but some of it is partly speculation of oil prices rising as well. So you've got to be careful with longs against CAD at the minute as well. There's just too much going on in the world at the moment from an economic perspective and a fundamental perspective, and it's changing so fast, obviously, with what's going on in the Middle East. So just be aware of these sorts of things. If you're going into drawdown on stuff, it's probably just fundamentals that you can't control, and there's no reason for the market to take profit on the moves. So you can't tell, obviously, until you're in, unfortunately. Euro US dollar, another long opportunity. So this was an extension the day before, 164, 124 was the weekly range. So this hit on that ADR move on Tuesday. Yesterday, we just sat around, and then obviously we had the big drop there. So good opportunity for longs back up into there. So again, that's another good looking one. I've got Euro CAD on, so I'm not taking this because Euro CAD, Euro US is going to move very, very similar. So push up to the highs. Sorry, push back up into propulsion as a target on that for a long. You've got a backup monthly coming up as well. Pound US, obviously pound we know about. Be careful with the pound today. New Zealand CAD. Again, that's a lovely level. I was looking at this one from an exposure perspective. I've got a CAD on already, but I've got no New Zealand exposure at the moment. So I was looking at this one today. It's rejecting nicely. So buy stop on the New Zealand CAD. So I'm going to take a New Zealand dollar CAD long. We've got this beautiful tweezer bottom weekly support at the previous weekly support. Yeah. So I've got an itchy nose again today. I don't know why. I get an itchy nose. Doctors, let me know. We've got really good support coming up. So we've got a big extension. We've hit our weekly. We've come down very, very fast, very hard. We've come into an area of support. We've got wicks forming, good looking long opportunity. Reversal alert on the lower time frame you probably already had. On the 5. Nope. So this is your first reversal alert today. So that will be your trigger if you're using the market reversal alert CA to get in, or using market reversal alerts indicator. So the reason I like this, we've got a nice support coming. We're really extended. Hourly, it's not quite far enough on the hourly for me normally, but it's embedded. So we've got divergence. Yeah, so that's bullish divergence at support with another really good support level coming up, which is here. That's going to be too close for me to take another entry, followed by another good area at ADR, and then another good area at 125 ADR, followed by a monthly double bottom low. Yeah, so it's very clear what to do with this trade. So I got a real itch today. It's like something's caught up my nose. I need to get the nose trimmers out. That's disgusting. So from here, you've got 175 ADR, which is going to be approximately 2 to 3 positions, 2 to 3 trades in your position. And you've got multiple support levels where the market is likely to try and buy from. We are bullish. We are pulling back. That is a 50% retracement on the leg as well. And obviously, if we're going to remain bullish, you're looking for a higher low to go in. So somewhere in this zone is where I would expect it to rally from. If we get negative news on US today or tomorrow, Canadian will drop with the US, and obviously New Zealand dollar CAD will pop. So that looks like a really good one. So just taking first entry on that, obviously just using a buy stop at the moment to get in. So if this does break through this level today, I'll just wait until we get some balls into the market. Euro US, New Zealand CAD. We've got New Zealand US as well, and obviously the other yen. So New Zealand US, not quite as good a level as the New Zealand dollar CAD, but very similar price action. These two, you're always going to find they're very similar to trade. So we have got this weekly level, which is not great. It's kind of stuck in the middle of a previous accumulation. We've got this little high here, which didn't really respected particularly well. We've broken through this low. We hit that yesterday and we've slammed through it. So it's likely that that's going to continue to the downside. Not quite extended, and it's not as divergent as the CAD. So still not a bad area. We've got some good support coming up within 225 ADR, and it's roughly 50% retracement if it's going to continue up. But obviously tomorrow, it doesn't matter. Technicals are completely trumped by all fundamentals. It doesn't matter how good you are as a technical analyst. If the US dollar collapses tomorrow on news or rallies tomorrow on news, your technical analysis just goes out the window. So it's all to do with fundamentals. That's what drives this thing. So yeah, as you can see, it's a beautiful bull market structure. Yeah. So if we're going to continue in that vein with US dollar weakness, as we probably will, unless something changes, this is where you want to be buying. So you've got loads of RSI extensions. I'm not going to go through all the RSIs today because I don't think I've got time. But there's quite a few. And we've covered, I think, most of these with the ADR hits or the AWR hits, the weekly ranges as well. So Aussie New Zealand is a lovely looking long at the moment. It's, sorry, short. Long. It's red. Short. Not quite enough for me. Sorry, that's why I was looking at that thinking, why is that not above 80? Because it's on the 1 hour. That's a 4 hour. So 4 hour, we are above the 80. So good looking long extension for the downside. But I've just put New Zealand CAD on, and I'd much rather take something against the CAD at the minute. Aussie New Zealand is very tricky to call. I get the feeling, and this backs up this trade idea as well, that we are going to get Australia come out soon and say, right, we've been stuck up here long enough, we need to drop the interest rate, and obviously that's going to send this back down again. So at the moment though, there's a hell of a lot of that. You've had 2 weeks of going absolutely nowhere, and you had 2 weeks, 3 weeks really there of going absolutely nowhere, and then you get these big runs in between. So it's very choppy at the moment. We're on a big run. There's a very good chance it is going to mean revert. So it is a good H4 M15 entry. In fact, you will already be in on it because you had a reversal alert this morning. So there's your entry. There's your beautiful retest we looked at. So we need to see if obviously the retest holds and we get that reversal coming through. But that's a really nice extension. We've got a few others which are at the 80-20s. They're all yens, yeah. So it's the CAD yen, the Swiss yen, and the US yen. And then obviously we've got the Euro US dollar is the only one on the 4 hour which is extended, which is extended to the downside. So that's a pretty good entry as well. We're embedded down here, but I don't want to long the euro at the moment. Especially with just getting out of that euro pound, that was half luck today with the news, wasn't it? So I'd much rather be short the euro because they are dropping rates, and obviously we've had the ECB coming out saying they're going to drop them faster. So we'll see what happens. But those are your hits today. Pound US dollar obviously is a big ADI on RSI on the hourly, but we know why. Right, let's catch up on the chat now. I've waffled on. There's a lot to cover this morning. I missed only 1 to 2 weeks, and you have so many changes. Have I? I did DD control and selected a 10 times bigger lot than I wanted. I saw a loss of 3%, and I tried again 2 times and lost 19%. Yeah, that's not good, is it? Morning, Pot DJ. I'm laughing because it is with a happy ending. I started with a clear head the next day and did 17% back. That's luck, but half of this is luck. Yeah, there's I'm going to cover in the member streams a very simple fundamental fact about market, and a very important one. It's binary. Yeah, so if you lose 19% of your account, as Tralala did, and you go, screw it, I'm going to go long, and you make 17% of it back, it's totally possible, because there are only 2 outcomes when you press the button. It either is or it isn't. So yeah, well done. But the most important thing you need to take away from that experience you just had is learn what happens and what can happen. Yeah, if that had gone against you, you would have lost another 19% of your account. Not a good method of trading. Ismet, morning. Virginia, morning. AZ, I've already said hello. Now I'm thinking to have a very small high risk account from where I will feed the H1M5 main account every month. Okay. Morning, FTNet. No star for you? Okay, that's fine. You can get a star if you join. Morning, Vitali. Or good night, even. Travellery with 200 ADR moves, ADR reversal strategy is not suitable at the moment. I don't know. I did join, but no star FTNet. I don't know. Pass. Maybe it takes a while to kick in. I don't know. Don't know how it works. Yeah, so 200 ADR moves basically. The probability of going beyond 200 ADR is obviously 3%. It's small. So let's look at euro pound. So there's two things in play. Yeah. First of all, an ADR hit happens for one of two reasons: a fundamental reason or just sheer volume of orders. Yeah. So every day you have roundabout, it's not exactly obviously, but around about 10 large institutional organizations that have the power to move this up and down. Yeah. The vast majority of commercial trading organizations don't have the power to move a candlestick. The 10 biggest central banks, Citibank, Barclays, HSBC, the people like that, they have the power and the volume of orders, the market making capability to move this thing, make these candles move up and down. So when you see an ADR move, that has been caused by a coincidental move by banks and institutions having to execute orders in the same direction at the same time. Yeah. The other reason these moves happen is a fundamental, where large banks and institutions either have confirmed bias or change in bias. Yeah. So if, for example, Barclays were already long euro pound and they got the news this morning from Bailey that they're going to drop interest rates on the pound, they will add more to the euro pound positions for the pension funds, hedge positions they've got on for commercial customers or whatever the reason may be. Yeah. When a fundamental happens, all banks and institutions have the same focus. Yeah. Economics is economics. You don't have one bank disagreeing with another bank's economics. Economics are economics. Yeah. Everybody that knows economics knows the same things happen on the same news. So you get large moves. So either this is a fundamental reasoning or it's just a commercial reasoning. If it's a commercial reasoning, you will find a portion of that move will be undone for two reasons. First, when it moves up, there's nobody else left to sell and they cannot buy anymore at this present time. So they wait for price to retrace until there is enough demand from sellers to be able to take the opposite side of their orders and drive another leg. Yeah. So if you've got 100 million to enter into the market with as a bank, you can't just dump 100 million in because there's not 100 million sellers. You might be able to get 25 of it in, and then you'll have to wait for more to come. And then you get another 25 and you wait for more to come. You get another 25, you wait for more to come. Another 25. That's it. Order complete. So what happens next? You stop buying. If you stop buying, the sellers take control and they undo a portion of that move. But there'll be another desk saying, okay, we need another long order here, and they will start there. And this is what causes market structure. When you get an ADR hit, it's just a coincidental large move in the same direction based on order flow, which typically you will get a percentage undone, 30, 50, 75, whatever. That's where Fibonacci comes from, yeah? So they'll undo a portion of the move. We're covering this, actually. I shouldn't be saying all this because we're covering it in the members section next week. But anyway, that's basically how it works. So today's move is a fundamental. With fundamental moves, quite often they do that because there will be institutions which were not bias long euro or not bias short at this present time pound that now are bias short pound, and they won't want to do the opposite. This is where you get these 3%, 2%, etc. Yeah, these percentages where it exceeds these levels typically are formed by fundamentals. So if you see an ADR hit on a day where there's no news, the probability is very, very high of a retracement from a point in that level. On a fundamental, you don't really want to. And this is, again, I keep saying it and I will never stop saying it. I do not believe there is a EA on the planet that can do what you do. Yeah. EAs can execute orders. If you've got the market reversal, that's EA, or the position trader EA now set on full auto to trade ADR reversals, this thing is looking to get in on every single one of these ADRs for you. Me as a human being, I'm not. Yeah. You can't teach the EA, oh, hang on a minute, the fundamental bias has just changed on the pound because Bailey has come out and explained that the interest rates may come down at some point in the next 6 weeks by a percentage he will release to us next week. EAs can't use that information to make a decision. I can. Yeah. So you have to have human interaction. Yeah. And this is why people say, what's the best set file for the EA? I don't know. I tried your EA out in the set file and it doesn't work. It does. It works beautifully. It's designed to manufacture. It's designed to execute orders based on criteria. If you happen to have it running on a chart when your fundamental bias changes direction, that's your fault. Yeah. You can't have everything. Yeah. You've got to have a human involved in this process. It's trading. It's discretionary. So EAs will execute the orders for you. No problem. But first thing I did this morning was make sure that there weren't any EAs running that were looking to long the pound. Turn them off. Get them off your charts. Unless, of course, you want to. Yeah. This thing, I don't know. This thing could be down here at 1 o'clock this afternoon. It could be at 300 ADR. I haven't got a clue. I can't see the future. Neither can you. But if you want to short it and take a chance on it, do it. However, if you're going to try and short a steam train like this, probably better to use a stop loss based strategy, not position trading, because it might not come back. I don't know. But there you go. What was that nice upcoming support on the pound CAD? There. 225 ADR. Whenever you see price coming down like this, obviously, there will be a point. Yeah, the market at the moment, as you can see, is long because of CAD weakness, not because of pound strength. We've now got pound weakness. And I think they probably knew this was coming, as they always do. So, yeah, just be aware. But that, if we got a 225 on this today, I'd be thinking very carefully about taking a trade on that. Yeah, I would go long on that. 225 ADR. Chances are it's going to retrace some of that move. Or it may do that. In which case you've got more than an ADR of movement. Yeah, but I would probably not do this as a position trade. This would be a trade I take on another account, which I scalp with a scalp. I just enter trades with stops, which is high risk. And that's what we're going to cover this morning in the members section, is we're going to do a session on prop strategies. And that's one of my prop strategies. That's the type of trade I would use in prop. Morning, Jazz. Just curious, how did you calculate these ADR percentages? There's a video on that on the ADR page. So this video covers how I got this. So this goes through how I got all the data, all the there you go, ADR calculations. Yeah, that teaches you the maths. So it's all based on data analysis. These levels, these percentages are generic across all instruments. Yeah, so I've tested Forex, all the majors, minors. I've tested indices. I haven't tested gold and oil, but I could probably say with 90% probability you're going to find it's the same. Yeah, because these percentages, these ADRs, are generated by average amount of money in the market. Yeah, so banks and institutions have a finite amount of money they can do and execute on a daily basis. Yeah, there's only a certain number of hours in the day. There's only a certain number of transactions that can be done. There's only a certain number of buyers and sellers wanting to exchange in opposite directions. This is what gives you the average daily range of an instrument. And it's all mathematically based. So, it's not as if a bank can suddenly turn around and go, we've been executing 100 million a day for the last 6 years on pound CAD. I'll tell you what, from now on, why don't we execute 500 million? Unless you've got another 400 million in the opposite direction to take those orders away from you, you can't physically do it. There's not enough liquidity in the market. This is what creates average daily range. Liquidity increases and decreases, is what we call volatility. And volatility is what changes the average daily range of the instrument. And that is basically why this is dynamic, and it uses the last 10 days worth of range to tell you how volatile the instrument is at the moment, which tells you how much you should risk. It's all part of the equation of trading. You cannot risk the same amount of money on the pound CAD, that moves 103 pips a day on average, as you do on the US dollar yen, because that moves 220 pips a day on average. And you can't risk the same amount on the CAD Swiss, because the CAD Swiss moves 51 pips on average. So you have to adjust your risk, your targeting, your lot size, and everything you do based on the average movement of what you're trading. And every instrument is different. And every instrument is also dynamic and changes on a regular basis. So that's why we use ADR and we don't use pips, which is all explained in the bootcamp. Fundamentals screws every strategy. Yeah. But if you trade fundamentals, you can't be screwed. This is why you've got to be aware of it all. This is what everybody's looking for, the holy grail of, I want an EA I can stick on a chart that makes me money. You can't. Because the market conditions change all the time. Every year is different. Every month is different. As I've just explained, every day has a different range it's going to move on average based on the previous movement it's had and the movement that's coming up. What's going to happen when the unemployment rate comes out tomorrow, 0.5% higher than forecast? Doesn't care what strategy you're trading, you are either going to go massively in loss, massively in profit, or if you're not using a stop loss, massively in drawdown. It's nothing to do with your strategy. It's to do with the fundamentals that drive this thing up and down. The Russian ruble, why is it moving the way it is? Because inflation is at rates they've never seen before in the middle of a war, and they're hemorrhaging cash. That is going to trade differently when the war finishes. Everything is driven by fundamentals. What happens when the US and the UK get dragged into a Middle East conflict, which costs us 20 billion a month to do? How's that going to affect our economy? It's certainly not going to help the currency, is it? Does your EA that trades breakouts on the 5-minute chart know that? No. How the hell is it expected to make money in the future? It's not. Even the change in bias GU looks nice for a long. Some good levels coming up. That's nice. That's nice. And obviously we've got a nice monthly zone down here as well. The problem with this one is this run up here that we had. So this is kind of a flag break long. So it's a 50% retracement on the leg. I mean, there's so much going for it, but if you go long on this, right, you're going long just as Bailey's announced he's weakening the currency. The day before, we're going to find out if the US dollar is going to rally or collapse. Do you think it's a good idea to get into a position trade on something that has a fundamental bias as of 6 o'clock this morning of short by going long against something that is going to move like a steam train tomorrow in one direction or the other? So if you get into this long now, you're relying on the market exhausting itself and having a pullback of a percentage before tomorrow's news, and tomorrow's news not being that. But every day has news, and this is why trading is so challenging, because there isn't a day of the week you don't have something that's going to drive something crazy. And you don't know what the news is going to be. All part of the problem. Do you ever take AWRs? Yeah. I took one yesterday, look, didn't I? Euro CAD. Just taken this. It's a weekly range extension. That's the reason for that trade yesterday. Not an RSI extension on the 4 hour, not an RSI extension. It is extended. It's not below the 20 level, which is where I want it. It was an ADR hit the day before. I took the trade yesterday because it's a weekly range hit. Very nice one. And although that is bearish, that is also bearish. The danger I have from a risk perspective fundamentally at the moment is oil price. So I'm kind of hoping that happens before the price of oil skyrockets. But AWRs are good. Point to broker difference, your pound US dollar is at 150, ADR mine is at 100. Yeah. Ignore my comment, I was wrong. All right, okay. Mine might be different. Let me just quickly check, because I was mucking about with my indicators yesterday. No, it is on ADR 10. Because I was doing ADR 60 tests yesterday, and I may have changed it, but I didn't. Can you talk short about the member? I was not here for 3 weeks. Where can I find more info? On the members streams. So you can either go to the website, live room. It's the best thing to do. So normal streams are going to be going on as normal here. At 9 o'clock, I'm doing member streams basically. So if you watch this video, hi everybody, you've clicked this. I just explained what it is. Yeah. So it's just another hour session, but going specifically into detail on stuff. So if you on YouTube, you've got a join button. If you just go to any video, it doesn't show the same for me as it does for everybody else, because obviously it's me running them. So you've got a join button. We've got members only streams live in 24 hours. Oh, that's tomorrow's. That one's starting at 9 o'clock. Yeah. And we're just going to cover stuff in detail. So my list is long, but this week we're doing strategy development week. So if you want to look at the live streams, if you go to playlists, there's members live streams. So if you go into that, you'll see what I've covered this week so far. We've got quant analyzer essentials, robustness testing, which we did yesterday, trading with prop firms, which we're going to do today, methods at work, what doesn't, testing basics for the back tester. And I'm going to be running it in different subjects, different weeks. So this week is strategy development week. Got 2 more sessions this week on strategy development, and today's trading for prop, strategies for prop. Next week is going to be price action week. So I've got a full week of content on reading price action. We've got a trader development week, which is going to be stuff like I just talked about this morning, understanding how and why the market works, the mechanics of trading, your job, what you need to focus on, understanding probabilities, mathematical probabilities, that sort of stuff. Might be interesting, might not. The 3 main trading strategies, the 3 main risk criteria, time frame selection, currency correlation, just general education stuff. But I call it trader development because it's stuff. It's the only the important stuff. Yeah. If I don't deem it important, I'm not going to talk about it. Or if you ask me to do a session on it, I'll tell you why it's not important. Because I've probably tested it, and it's like, well, what's the point in doing that? You might as well flip a coin. It's usually what my response comes down to. And then we're going to do indicator training weeks as well. So it's going to be just a week on this, a week on that, a week on this, a week on that. But also intertwined with all of that is going to be strategy development all the time. So I'm still waiting for some members to come up with some strategy ideas that they want to build an EA on and backtest. So I have what I call the Swiss Army knife EA, which is basically an EA that can do everything. So it's the this one here, basically. So this EA can basically test any risk criteria you can come up with. So any risk reward, stop based, position trading based, hedging based. It can do trailing stops based on ADR, moving averages, whatever else I want to do trading stops on. You can have hard targets, you can have soft targets, you can have half in, half out position, you can have always in strategies, You can have timed closes. You can have target amounts, position amounts, individual trade amounts. You can take 50% off. You can do this. Just basically, this is kind of like everything you've ever seen in any video ever in trading or any course you've ever been taught. This EA does everything they could ever teach you to do to get in and out of a trade. What you need is an entry criteria and an exit criteria. All trading strategies consist of a condition, a signal, a stop, and an exit for a target. That's it. There's only 4 moving parts in a strategy. Every strategy on the planet consists of something's happened. Let's get in because where should we get out? And where should we get out in profit? Where should we get out in loss? Where should we get out in profit? This EA does the lot. So you come to me and say, I've seen this amazing strategy, right? This guy, he's got a mechanical trading system. And what he does is this. I will build the EA and we will test it. And then we will I'll either go, well done. And I'll publish it out there and everyone can trade it if they want to buy it. And I'll sell it cheap. Yeah, but I've got to build it. I've got to maintain it, right? So I'm not doing it for free, but it'll be like 50 quid a license or something like that. Yeah. So you want to use it? Go there. You go. It does it. There you go. That strategy you just told me about is brilliant. Looks great. I'm going to robustness test it on multiple instruments, multiple time frames over multiple time periods. The robustness testing core lesson we did on yesterday, wasn't it? Was it yesterday? Yeah. So I want a load of that in there. There you go. That's the basics. But the robustness was here. That was yesterday. Hour and a half. So yeah, so that's basically what I want to do. But I want to sprinkle this type of work in constantly. But we need a core of this week. We're going to focus on this. So we might do a 3/4 of an hour lesson, half an hour lesson style thing, Q&A, go where we go with it sort of thing. And then we'll go, right, that strategy you gave me on Tuesday, I've got it ready to go. Let's test it. And we'll spend half an hour testing it. And then we'll go, that looks great, but it doesn't work. How can we improve it? What if we added a filter in? Let's add a filter in and retest. That sort of stuff. That's what I want to do more of. Strategy, idea creation and strategy development, because that's what it's all about. Making money out of this market. There are a billion ways to do it. You can flip a coin, go long and short and make money. Yeah. It's about finding something that has a long-term robust edge. And there are loads of strategies out there that have long-term robust edges, but the vast majority of them require some kind of human input and discretionary use. So we can build EAs that will execute strategies based on, we know they've got a good edge, but there will be times where they just don't work. That's where you come in as a human being. Like this morning, I've turned off all the pound pairs for mean reversion. Why? Because the pound is collapsing, because Bailey has said something. The strategy we test, if it goes long and tries to mean revert the pound because it's a mean reversion strategy for the next week, it'll probably hemorrhage a load of cash. It may not do, I don't know, because I can't see the future. But the back test will show you huge drops. We looked at some of them this week, big drops you can't do anything about. Yeah, but you know why they happened. Yeah, so the strategy goes like this. The equity curve, I can't show you now because I haven't got time, but the equity curve goes like this and it's beautiful. And then it goes pop and then it goes like that. And you're like, oh, it would have been great if it didn't do that because it stagnated for a year because it made all that loss. It lost 20% of the account. Why? COVID, right? The rest of the time, it's amazing. You have to deal with that. You have to deal with Bailey today. Yeah, but the rest of the time, as long as the market's just doing what the market does on a daily basis, if it does that, we'll use it. And it'd be great. But, we can just test and look at results. That's all we can do. And you can automate stuff and stick it on full auto. Not a problem. There's ways to do things like that, but you've got to have that human element to it as well. So that's what we cover in the live rooms, basically, Patrick. In a nutshell. Last couple of member streams have been really great, enjoying, good. People are missing out on the private streams, get joined up. Good sales, Harold. I have a strategy which I've been manually trading, but scared you're going to shout at me. I'm not going to shout at you, Harold. I'm going to test it. Yeah. I won't shout at you. I want you to give me your strategies. And I want to build an EA to test them. If it's doable, if it's a really complicated strategy, it's probably going to be hard work to test it, but to build it. But I'm not going to shout at you. We'll test it. And I'll just say, I will give you my opinion, Harold. I will say, typically they're a load of crap, and this is why. But let's build it, test it, and there you go. Or I'll go, they're usually crap, and this is why. We'll build it, test it, and I'll go, proven wrong. I don't care if it works or not. What I want you to see is how strategies are developed. Yeah. And understand the process in testing, which is the most important thing. Your strategy may well be working amazingly for you now, but have you tested it over 8 years on multiple market regimes? If not, you might think you found the holy grail. If you have, we can automate it. But if you're trading it manually, you know, right. I'll send you on Discord. Yeah. So that's how to do it. There's a Discord group as well for members only, which we will be communicating on members' stuff. Are you considering putting an input to vary the ADR period on the position trader EA? You can do already. Does it? It's there. ADR number to use for ADR calculations. Input. Done. It's been there all along. Right, have to go. Member stream started 2 minutes ago. Have a good day. Anything you need, let me know. I will be back tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll have a look at how the pound has moved and all the usual stuff. Just be wary of any mean reversions today, and obviously be aware we've got a load of news coming in this afternoon as well on the US. So could be a big volatile day today, all right? Members, see you in a minute. 5 minutes. Need to give the stream time to shut down, and then I can restart the members one, all right? So I'll be back in there in 5 minutes, and we'll go through some prop strategies, all right? See you in a minute, or I'll see you next time.